What's up, guys? This is RJ from Game News USA here, and today I want to talk about Mufasa The Lion King. Seen this in theaters just recently, and I wanted to give my personal thoughts. I'm not even looking at what the critics say about it. I just want to give my own thoughts here on this movie. So, going in, my expectation was not really all that high. I kind of expected a little half-ass origin story, and, we walk out of the movie with it was alright. But it actually answered so many questions, some of which I didn't even know were questions of mine going into the movie. Things I've kind of always wondered, but never really went too deep into. And so, spoiler alert, spoiler warning here. We're going to go over some of these issues I had that were answered in this movie. So, obviously, for one thing, if you're going to see this movie, the chances are you have seen the animated Lion King from 30 years ago. Okay? If you didn't, then that's probably a little bit of a problem, which is why this isn't the most perfect movie to jump right into. But, if you ever wondered why Scar did what he did, or how he knew Mufasa, or any of those issues, this movie really solved it. I was surprised at some of the things I learned. I didn't realize they weren't actually blood brothers, number one. I also didn't realize, how Scar got his scar, which is what I was waiting for all movie. I was wondering, how did he get his scar? Because you knew it was going to come up. We also didn't know, or at least I didn't know, that Mufasa wasn't, part of a long line of kings. He was a traveler with his parents. I had assumed Mufasa was just one of many kings that ruled over that part of the jungle for generations. And not that he was a hero, the first king, and that's why he's so revered, essentially. But, I think that even in some way, I have sympathy for Scar, and in some ways, I'm more angry at Scar for things that he did, but I also understand where he's coming from. The real issue between Scar and Mufasa was Sarabi, because what had happened was Sarabi fell in love with Mufasa, Scar got jealous, and that was the whole issue between them originally. And also it's a matter of pride as well. Scar had thought growing up his whole life he would be king and Mufasa would serve him by his side. And then by the end of the movie, it's Mufasa that's king, and Scar is kind of looked at as the villain and kind of side-eyed, and it's very humbling, to say the least, for him. But as far as this movie goes overall as an experience, I can never look at the regular Lion King the same again. That is what a prequel should do. This is one of the best prequels I've ever seen in the last 20 years. It's sort of like watching Revenge of the Sith. When you see how Darth Vader became Vader. You sort of have that with Scar. Yes, the title of the movie is about Mufasa, but it's just as much about Scar as it is anybody else, which I found fascinating, And there's so many little Easter eggs and homages to the main movie, like when Scar is saving Mufasa and he claws him in the hands to save him. And he did it 2 times in this movie. And we all know that in the main Lion King, when Scar gets an opportunity to save him again years later, he throws him off into the herd and kills him. In one of the most traumatic scenes that you'll see in any movie, one that will guarantee to make you tear up, is when Mufasa dies and Simba finds him dead. And then, Scar is trying to manipulate Simba after that. and it doesn't work because Simba comes back and triumphs. That entire story just got enhanced. Sometimes prequels, when they get made, will fuck up the regular story you've seen. This gave it more backstory, more impact. It makes it to where the next time I watch the regular Lion King, I will have all this knowledge, this behind the scenes, like, beforehand knowledge about what Mufasa went through before he gets killed by Scar. And it just adds to it without taking away from it in any way. So I thought this movie was phenomenal. I thought that this was much better than the other live-action Lion King they did, because the other live-action Lion King they did was just a retelling of the exact same story of the animated one. And so I didn't like that nearly as much. This actually gave, some solid backstory here. And it also looked into the future because this is being told from Rafiki's perspective as well. And so it sort of ties everything together in a nice, neat little bow. I think the runtime of this movie was about right. Didn't feel like it dragged on. I didn't feel like it was too rushed either. I thought the acting was phenomenal. I have no complaints about that. The music scenes, although I will say some of the songs did feel corny, to me, just a little bit. It wasn't horrible. I thought the music scenes were fine. But overall, if I had to put a grade on this, I would say I would give it a 9. It's almost a 10. But I can't quite give it a 10 because I think if you're a newcomer, I don't think this movie will do it for you. I think you definitely got to watch the original Lion King first to appreciate this. And anytime a prequel does that, which does happen a lot, it's hard to say, oh, it's perfect, or oh, it's as good as the original. But it's damn close. So 9 out of 10, I get highly recommended. If you care about the Lion King franchise at all, go see this movie. And if you have, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were on Mufasa the Lion King. But until next time, guys, see ya. I'm out. Have a good one.